One thing you notice when you travel around the former Soviet Union are the amount of abandoned places. As you've probably noticed, there's a really cool structure behind me, and it's an outdoor swimming pool, or it was an outdoor swimming pool. As you can see, there's quite a long mosaic on the entrance. So this is the inside view, quite clearly. Like swimming pool there, seemingly now the territory of wild dogs. That's a fair size stand as well, isn't it? With floodlights even as well. Some of the abandoned buildings actually get torn down altogether, and that's the case with what was once upon a time one of the most prestigious restaurants of the city during the USSR, which stood where I'm standing now. So just walking along, I've come across something that looks like it could be cool. Seems like it closed a long time ago, whatever it was. Not much sign of life here now. The artwork, although it's mostly worn away, you can see a little bit, and it's clearly from the Soviet period. I'm just wondering if that next door is part of this. I reckon it's maybe just some little entertainment centre for children. Cool location, just by the sea. And in fact, all around the sea it's very sparsely developed, which is surprising. There's at least 3 or 4 abandoned cable car pavilions in the city. The coolest thing about this one is that, if we look along the lines there, it's still got one of the original cable cars just hanging there. I'm now on the grounds of what used to be a radio making factory. I guess this would have been the main entrance. There seems to be a little bit of old furniture left behind, but not much else of interest. It might not look that big from the outside, but once you step into the grounds themselves, you can see it was actually pretty big. Just walking around, I've come across these tennis courts, or what were once clearly tennis courts, and it's a shame that they've gone into ruin, because tennis courts in capital cities can be quite hard to come by, or in any cities for that matter. I think we can also say goodbye to the hippodrome. Judging by the photos on the boards around it, it's going to be completely redeveloped. This is another abandoned cable car pavilion. This one, right in the very heart of the city, is a much more interesting design than the other one, which was out in the suburbs. So some abandoned buildings just remain for years or even decades. Others, they get pulled down. And then there's a third group of abandoned buildings that they decide to renovate, reconstruct and bring back to life. And this is one such building. It must be structurally safe, and it seems that's how it's going to look in future. So just come across this building, clearly from the Soviet period. Looks like some people have had a bit of fun with it, brightened up a bit. But not much standing still. Something there about the war, some memorial. It's rare to see anything written in the Russian language these days, and as you can see, it's kind of been scrubbed out. That was obviously once the Soviet emblem. As you can see, they've torn it all off now, but haven't quite managed to get off the bottom hammer and sickle there. The war theme carries on just round the side. You can see an old piece of art there, clearly a soldier. I've got to admit, I'm a bit surprised it's still standing and they haven't pulled it down yet. Looks like it's been there, left derelict for a long time, and obviously it's not serving any purpose, and it's taken up quite a lot of space in quite a desirable area of the city. So I'd have thought it won't be there for much longer.